Welcome to The Point. Stick around and I'm going to show you how I mounted these marker lights on my 23 F250. For the wiring on the front valance lights, I unplugged this harness that plugged into the driver's side headlight. I'm using this first pin right here, which is a green and purple striped wire. I have soldered in a green with a brown striped wire. So I'm going to tape this up and then tape this harness back up. And this is going to be providing the signal wire for these amber lights in the front valance. Underneath the truck, this is the wire that I tapped into the driver's side headlight harness. And I've got my bundle of wires right here where I created my own harness. And I've got two plugs. I'll show you this style plug once I'm out from underneath the truck. But I also tapped into one of the valance bolts here for my ground wire. Put a ring terminal on there on the metal side and tighten that back down. So that created my power and ground in this section right here. And if I could show you, my harness just kind of runs along this section right here. And then it goes, I've got it pulled out right here right now where I'm about to glue in one of the lights on the valance. So for the lights, I filled in the bottom side there with epoxy just to make sure it was 100% filled. They had it maybe about halfway. I just don't want any water getting in these because they're going to be in spots right behind or right in front of the wheel well. I did extend my wires about 8 inches right here from what they send me. And the only reason I did that is I don't want these plugs in the area where all the water and everything's going to be possibly splashing up. I'm going to tuck these under the bumper, so I don't want to be able to see that plug, although I can remove this if needed. This is the style plug that I'm using. The reason I made them individual like that is once I drill the hole, I'm able to fit these through that style of hole and that size of hole. So if you did a solid 2-pin plug right here, it may not fit through the hole once you drill it. And these are watertight plugs. I used my normal braided loom there. And then this is the style of plugs that I used where you can crimp this on. You can add the watertight connection there. And you've got the female and male side of those plugs. You have to have a special set of pliers to put these on, and I'll link that in the comments and descriptions if you're interested in that. I've got the hole drilled and the wires pulled through on this one, and I'm about to glue this one in. And I'm just going to show you what I'm doing with mine. For the hole, I went 2 1/4 up from the bottom of the valance to here, and I did 1 1/4 from this edge in to give myself pretty much center where I wanted to be. I am not using the rubber grommets that come with this. And the only reason I want to do it that way is, to me, it looks a little cleaner without the rubber grommet. That hole is drilled out with a unibit. I can show you the unibit there. You're going to go to about 9/16. But I tell you to try to test fit that ever so often as you drill through this. Reason being is you really want this to be a tight fit if you're not using the rubber grommet. So for mine, it seemed like it was about 9/16. They kind of pop in. And I did get the tinted versions of these. So these are going to be amber, and the ones in the rear are going to be red. For this specific set of lights, mine have got like an orientation. It's almost more like a line rather than a single LED in there. So I've got mine leveled as straight as I want them, looking at these 2 lines on the valance here. I'm using a 2-part epoxy by Gorilla Glue. I think it's called the Gorilla Ultimate. I will have that in the description as well if you're interested in using the same epoxy. And then once I've got this kind of lined up, got the glue on there, I'm going to tape this down and let it dry for about 24 to 48 hours. This is where I decided to put the rear marker lights. This one is going to be red. And I wanted this position so you can kind of see it from the rear of the truck, or you can see it from the side of the truck. To give you an idea exactly where that is, this from the edge right here to there, I'm thinking this step is about 7 inches. So I'm at about 3.5 inches to give you this front to back distance of where I mounted mine. And then to give you the top to bottom distance, there is a slight curve to this step. And right as it starts to make that curve is where I put the bottom of the light. The reason being, I'm going to show you in some pictures in the video, there is a piece of metal that comes down and interferes a little bit with the top of this light. So you're going to have to take the step off, and you're going to have to grind the top of that metal out a little bit to give your clearance for this light. If you don't want to put it here, completely don't have to do that, but that's how I did my setup. If you've never taken this assembly out before, you have to pop this step piece out, and there's 4 clips up underneath there. You'll have to kind of squeeze them and push up. Then you've got 2 tabs, one here, one here. There's a series of clips that hold this piece on as you pull it out. But that's how I did mine. The best thing to do is get your hole drilled. You'll see where your bit kind of ran into the metal. Take this whole assembly off, and I just ground the metal out. For the wiring on this back side, I had already pre-wired some stuff to my tag lights, so that's what I'm wired off of now here. But these are the plugs where I can unplug this light, replace it if necessary. And the way I put my bulb in there, I'm able to feed the wire through this channel and come out this hole, then plug in. And these are right above my Diodynamic 6-inch bars. All right, everything's finished. This is a daytime view. I'm gonna go up to the front here first and show you that one. And this is why I didn't want to go with the rubber grommets, because they really kind of hide into the valance there. You can barely tell it's there. And then let me come back to the one here on the back. The truck's kind of dirty right now. I'll do another video later though. So there's the one in the back, and I will say that one's a pain in the ass to do. But they kind of hide without that rubber grommet. And then I'm going to hit the unlock so you can see what they look like. I like this style of light because it looks like a line, not just a dot. So there's that one there. And then let's see this one here on the front. There's the one on the front. I'm going to do some night shots as well so you can see front and rear of the vehicle, how they look at night. And if you saw that, that rear step pocket, I'll eventually do a video on those as well. But I've got 2 lights in here that light up at night. And I actually did that on my other step there too. So let me know if you want to see a video on that. I'll do one for that as well. Here is the night view of the marker lights. Right now I have just the parking lights on, so the headlights aren't blinding us. I do like the way it turned out because the lower air dam lights, you can see those from the front of the truck. That was kind of the whole point on where I put them. You can see them from the front of the truck, and you can see them from the side of the truck. So see if you can see that look there. And then we'll walk around to the back here. And that's another reason why I put them where I put them, on the bottom of the steps there, because you can see them from the side of the truck, and then you can see them from the back of the truck. You have to kind of back up a decent amount though to see them. Hopefully you can see that in the video. You can see the one right here on the back. And then that one right there on the front. I think it adds just a little bit to the truck there. Just a little bit more lighting. You can probably tell a little bit that I like lighting on this truck. Hopefully this information was useful or helpful for you. And if it was, please subscribe and share. And that's to the point.